Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the greatest recordings ever. And this one, well, we've talked about it before, but it hasn't been reported in this particular context, and it sure deserves to be. I can't believe I didn't include it sooner, but here it is. It's the Hollywood String Quartet playing Schoenberg's Verklärte Nacht and Schubert's String Quintet. What a coupling! Holy mackerel, it's amazing. The performances are just astounding. I think if there is ever a recording that deserves to be one of the greatest recordings ever, this is it. I mean, yes, it's in mono, but it's in very good mono. It's very well recorded. And we have, well, first of all, the Hollywood String Quartet, which consisted of Felix Slatkin, Paul Schur, Paul Robin, and Eleanor Aller. Now, of course, Felix Slatkin and Eleanor Aller were Mama and Papa of Leonard Slatkin. So they're somewhat well known by virtue of their famous son, but they deserve, and Felix Slatkin, of course, conducted as well. They were all Hollywood studio musicians. Howard Shore, or Paul Shore, pardon me. Howard Shore is the movie music guy. No, Paul Shore, I had the pleasure of getting to know because we gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Cannes Classical Awards. A terrific guy. Really interesting. You know, he was the concertmaster for the Hollywood studio orchestras at all the Academy Award shows, like all of them for like decades. And he also was a thereminist, because a lot of Hollywood studio musicians specialized on interesting instruments, because that way, if they were needed in a film score, they would have extra work. And Paul Shore played the theremin in all of those, you know, film noir things by like Miklos Rosa and stuff like that. He was full of amazing stories and just a wonderful, wonderful musician and a terrific guy. And let's see, what do we have? In addition to the Hollywood String Quartet for the Schoenberg, we have Alvin Dinkin and Kurt Reher, and Kurt Reher is also the second cello in the Schubert Quintet. Now, it is possibly because these musicians, who are superbly well-trained people, spent so much time doing studio work. When they played classical music, they were really, really into it. I mean, they took it very seriously, and they made sure that they got their performances to as high a peak of perfection as it was humanly possible to be. They just did. There was no chamber group in the 1950s that could play at a higher level than these folks did. And they made a series of recordings. They were all reissued on Testament that were absolutely incredible. I don't know how much of it's still available, but these were recorded. Let's see if it tells us here. Copyright as shown. Bloopity bloopity bloop. Okay. They don't say on the back here, but I can tell you from in here. It was in the 50s. Here we go. As shown, 1951 and 1950. And they played Verklärte Nacht for Schoenberg himself. I mean, they did a good bit of contemporary music. If you look at their discography, they did like Villa-Lobos quartets. They did all kinds of interesting stuff. But also the late Beethoven quartets, extraordinarily well. They had this amazing versatility by virtue of their being studio musicians, an incredible musical curiosity, a total lack of snobbery about which repertoire they played. Only the snobbery, if such it was, came in the form of extraordinary performance standards of whatever they did, but they were totally open to new things and to playing everything at the same exalted level. So they were actually invited to Schoenberg's home, and the story's in here. It's wonderful. You know, it was like the middle of the summer, and he was wearing a sweater, and it was like 400 degrees. And they played Verklärte Nacht, and Schoenberg said, well, I didn't know I wanted it exactly to go that way, but that was just terrific. You know, it had the imprimatur of Schoenberg himself, which is a big deal. Considering how persnickety he was about everything. And the Schubert is stunning, absolutely astounding. It's incredible. That hypnotic slow movement has a sustained intensity and a sort of transcendental, whatever you want to call it, that's really, really, really powerful. And the hunting scherzo hunts, it really goes. It's got this physicality to the attacks, and the accents are just, oh gosh, it's just brilliant. Their intonation was amazing. I mean, I don't usually talk about intonation because I don't have perfect pitch, and I think people who blather on about it, unless it's really off, unless it's something that's like really, really debilitating, you should just leave people alone with it. But boy, they're so pure in their tuning, and their rhythms are so together. I can't even begin to tell you just how brilliant these performances are. If you can still find them, you owe it to yourself to hear them. You really, really do. They are a marvel, and the quality of these performances has not dimmed an iota in the intervening 75 years since these were recorded. It's extraordinary, just extraordinary. 75 years. Think about it. Unbelievable. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.